Fairy Tail had an opportunity to make one of the most ambitious choices in anime history, but in the end, didn't have the courage to commit. Here's what should have happened, broken down into 3 parts, and why it would have worked. Let me set the scene for you. The main cast of Fairy Tail has gone through hell on Tenro Island, and are now being confronted by the legendary dragon Acnologia, and they're no match for him. They all huddle in a circle, hold each other's hands, and in solidarity, accept their fate. In one blast, Acnologia wipes Fairy Tail and Tenro Island off the face of the planet. The narrator tells us months of searching have gone by, and no one was ever found. Now 7 years have passed since that day, and a new journey has begun. It's one of the greatest setups in anime history. Then they ditch it 1 episode later. The next episode, we learn the island was protected by Mavis, the main cast is safe, and before those 22 minutes are up, they're back at Fairy Tail almost as if nothing ever happened. It's one of the most frustrating decisions I've ever witnessed in anime. Taking out your entire main cast 120 episodes into a series is such a cool and ballsy route to take your story. To essentially retcon that after 1 episode is such a waste of potential. So let's fix it. First, I'll state the obvious. You can't write off your entire main cast for good this far into a series. It'd likely kill ratings, kill perception, and narratively probably wouldn't work. But you can drag out their return. Doing a 7-year time skip and return in 1 episode is such a disservice to the premise. What they should have done is make it an entire season. A season without the main cast would work in Fairy Tail. How do I know? Because they did exactly that later on. Fairy Tail Zero was a 12-episode season which explained the origins of the Fairy Tail Guild, Mavis, and even a little bit of Zeref. And guess what? Those 12 episodes elevated the show. We were able to explore Mavis, Fairy Tail, Zera became a key figure, and we added dimensions to Zeref, Yuri, Warad, and even Hades, which is why I wish they would have done the same thing after Acnologia destroyed Tenro. So here's how I would have done it. Upon the Magic Council's return to Fiore, the remaining Fairy Tail members would have been told about what happened on Tenro. That first episode would center around their reaction to that news, and going through the 5 stages of grief. Jet and Droy are particularly devastated at the loss of Levi and feel immense guilt over not being with her at the time of her death. The episode would end with all of Fiore putting on a big show of mourning, and knowing how Mashima operates, it'd be deeply emotional. Then over the next few episodes, out of anger and desperation, the guild, led by Makao and Wakaba, would recklessly use resources to conduct search missions, coming up with nothing. Jet begins to lash out at anyone who tries to comfort him, while Droy is letting himself go. The desperation the guild has, and the lack of leadership, force them to make contracts with other guilds, such as Twilight Ogre. With Makao putting his efforts towards finding the others, he's neglectful, and Romeo begins to rebel. Without their heavy hitters and enough time passing, other guilds start to take advantage of them. Kinana is the first to see that Fairy Tail is spiraling, but no one listens to her, and she ends up running the bar at Fairy Tail, but also takes on another job in town to try to stop the guild from bleeding funds. Nob wants to make a difference, and after hanging her on the job board for 120 episodes, he finally takes one on, but fails his very first one, and it demoralizes him. Max has become the new standout of the guild, and he pushes himself to the brink. He's taking on every job he can, desperately trying to get stronger, and it completely exhausts him. Ritus in particular sees this and wants to help too, so he starts pushing himself to become stronger as well. Romeo sees how poorly the other guilds are able to treat Fairy Tail now, and he won't stand for it. He's constantly standing up to the guilds bullying them, but his antics only make things worse. He picks fight after fight after fight, only to get beat down time and time again. But he keeps coming back for more, because that's what Natsu would do. He's trying to help, but because of his youthful ignorance, he doesn't grasp he's only fostering more resentment towards the guild. We flash forward a few years, and these things have continued to spiral. Jet is a full-on douchebag. Droy has gained a substantial weight. Nob has done the same and is clearly depressed. Max is far more powerful, but also looks like he's always on the verge of collapsing. Makao and Wakaba have aged poorly over the stress of wasting resources and funds. They're defeated men. Kinana, Laki, and Warren are the glue holding the shattered pieces of Fairy Tail together. The guild is now completely indebted to Twilight Ogre. Romeo hates this and attacks them by himself. Other guilds either encourage this or actively ignore the wrong being done. Things only continue to get worse. There's also a conversation in the background that Lucy's father has passed. Then after a missed payment and revenge for the Romeo attack, let's say 8-ish episodes in now, Lockie takes a beatdown from Twilight Ogre. She's nearly left for dead, and because everyone has been dealing with their own grief, they don't even notice she's gone or injured for the full episode. We get into how helpless she feels and how she keeps praying for her friends to save her, and they never do. It's someone from another guild who has to get her the help that she needs. When the others eventually do realize what's happened, they're disgusted. Not only at Twilight Ogre, but at themselves. The Fairy Tail Guild is about friendship, and they were so consumed with their own issues that they nearly lost a friend. This is the wake-up call the guild needed. Jet realizes he's been an asshole. Nob breaks down admitting he gave up, but he wants to help now. Droy starts working out again. Romeo understands how his actions have only made things worse for the guild as a whole. Ritus decides it's about time they put a stop to things, and starts laying out the blueprints for how to get back at Twilight Ogre. The whole guild works to put this plan together, and they might not have physical strength, but they're Fairy Tail. They've got the power of friendship, damn it. They meticulously plan everything out, and they're set to enact the plan soon. Then they hear a sound outside. It's the magic bomber Christina. At the end of episode 10, we learn that Tenro Island still exists. In episode 11, the guild is split. Do they commence with the plan, or do they give it one last shot to see if their friends are alive? They decide to do both. They can't abandon their friends, but they also can't rely on people who have been gone for 7 years to save them. They have to finally grow as a guild and save themselves. So some of them leave to go searching, and others stay to see their plan through. The staying group modifies the plan, and then decides to move forward, but by chance, because they had to modify it, Twilight Ogre catches word of it. The plan might have worked, but because they knew it was coming, Twilight Ogre takes the offensive and attacks the guild hall. In the final episode, everything is at its bleakest, and all hope looks lost. Ritus's blueprints are sprawled all over the floor, mixed with paintings of all the friends he's missed the last 7 years. Fairy Tail fought hard, but it wasn't enough. Romeo is the only one able to keep pushing forward. He'll never give up. And when he's about to take the final blow, and the Fairy Tail Guild is about to be wiped out for good, Team Tenro returns. Tell me that wouldn't be incredible. How much more would you care about Ritus, Lockie, Kinana, Max, Romeo, etc., with all of them going through these arcs and having it shown to us on screen? Each character's actions and motivations would mean so much more having seen them all struggle and grieve the way they did, but still trying to grow. And then the return would be so epic because we would have grown to foster real hatred for Twilight Ogre and real love for what remains of Fairy Tail, and everything would have felt so earned. What do you think?